Welcome to the 360 Sports Network. I'm James Dawson, and it's time for another edition of What's Wrong with Sports. And as you can probably imagine, right now, where we are in the NFL season, what's wrong with sports is going to have to do with the it's already been monikered. It's called BatGate. Yes, I'm referring to the Monday Night Football game between the Lions and the Seahawks, where a fumble at the end of the game had a Seahawks player bat the ball out of the air and knock it out of bounds to force a touchback and then to guarantee that their team had the ball. And therefore, they ended up winning the game. That batted ball play is 1,001,000,000% illegal. And yes, it has come out that was exactly the case. The play was illegal, that the rule was not properly enforced, and the outcome of the game very much in question because of the controversial issue with BatGate. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here because I'm getting sick and tired of all of the issues going on in the National Football League in terms of rule enforcement. First things first, how do referees not know this rule? The official standing right there, looking right at it, ended up claiming that he did not deem that was an intentional bat. I'll get back to that part in a minute. So that's step one, if he said it wasn't. Apparently the officials got together and talked about it. Okay, I'll say, okay, your judgment was that it wasn't intentional. It doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. If it is any batting of the ball, it must be deemed as an illegal bat, period. And I don't know how you can say it's not intentional. I mean, what are you going to try to claim? That he was trying to grab the ball? Is he really going to try to grab the ball with one hand right in the middle of the end zone, and you're going to grab it by shoving your arm out like a shot put? Get real here, okay? So that's step one. Step two, first off, if you're the Seahawks defender, how do you not know this rule? If you're an NFL player, how do you not know this rule? If you're an NFL analyst, how do you not know this rule? Me, a very novice guy, okay? I never played a down of football in my life. I knew this rule. I've seen it implemented numerous times. I've seen it flagged more times than I can count, in all honesty. And people are saying they didn't know it. Ray Lewis didn't know this rule. Steve Young didn't know this rule. I mean, they're talking after the game like, wow, I've never seen this. How long has this been a rule? Forever. It took 20 minutes after the game was over before they finally got the ESPN brought their rules expert out there who said exactly what I had been saying for 20 minutes on Twitter about how ridiculous it was that the Lions just got screwed. How do I know the rules better than these experts? I just don't get how that is physically possible. It makes no sense. And this isn't the first case that we've had players not know the rule. How many NFL players, every time there's a tie in the NFL, and another NFL player says, I didn't know we could end in a tie. It happens every year. How do you not know this? But going back to the illegal batting, illegal kicking, even the rules official couldn't even explain it correctly. I mean, this is ridiculous here. Here's why. Because he talks about the fact that you see it all the time. There's a snap that goes over the quarterback's head or over the punter's head, and all they do is they kick the ball through the end zone or just bat it out of the back of the end zone. And they say that there is no flag on that play because the 2 points is really the penalty. They gave up 2 points. 1,000% false again. Because, yes, they do throw the flag. They do call for the illegal batting or the illegal kicking of the ball. That penalty is declined because of the safety. It's not that the penalty isn't, that the flag isn't thrown. It's that the penalty is declined by the team. Because if they've accepted it, then they would have a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the fumble. Well, what's going to help you better? 10-yard penalty from the spot of the fumble or the 2 points? So, again, it's that they don't know the rules. They don't know the history. They know nothing. And that kills me that players and officials and analysts and these people who are supposed to be teaching us about the game don't even know the rules of the game. And it's mind-boggling. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm looking at the picture right now. The guy didn't even need to bat it out of the end zone. He could have just grabbed it, fallen on it, or attempted to grab it and not clearly gain possession, then it would still just be a touchback. It's not like he was batting it away from anybody, and that's what people are going to say. Well, did it really matter? It's the rules. Enforce the rules. Look at Major League Baseball. They made a bad rule with the blocking of home plate. They over-enforced it. So then the next year, this current year, they pretty much, even though the rule is still on book, they never enforced it once this year. Not once. Again, what's wrong with sports? If you have a rule, please follow it. It's not that difficult. Okay? But now, going back to whether it was, deemed intentional or not. That's called a judgment call. Therefore, that is a non-reviewable play. You cannot review anything that is deemed a judgment call by an official. Stop it. Come on now. You're really saying that you can't tell based on video replay, you can't have judgment using video replay? If you're afraid that, going in slow motion is going to change your judgment of something, then don't put it in slow motion or something. But it is so obvious, without a shred of doubt in my mind, whether I'm watching full speed, slow motion, or double time, that guy intentionally batted the ball out of the end zone. Why have replay if you're not going to use it? If I can see it with my two eyes, whether it's live or whether it is recorded, I should know, or I should be able to review it and to be able to overturn a call. None of this judgment call BS that's going on out there, because that's just absolutely ludicrous in my mind. If I can see it, I should be able to review it. And there are so many plays out there that are deemed unreviewable for one reason or another. This is just the latest version of it. A lot of them end up dealing with, the process of the catch too comes in terms of that. I just don't understand how you can, or the other one was a couple of years ago, the Navarro Bowman incident, when he got his leg absolutely shattered when he recovered a fumble. Well, they couldn't review it because the play on the field was not called a fumble. You can challenge who recovered a fumble, but you can't challenge whether or not a fumble actually happened. It was something ridiculous like that. I'm sure I have that messed up now. But they claim that one part of the play was not reviewable. If I can see it, I can review it. I can see there are 12 people on the field. I can see that he completed the process of the catch. I can see that he intentionally batted the ball out of the end zone. There is no such thing as a judgment call. And if there is a judgment call that can only be made by the eyes of the official on the field, then it can be made by the eyes of an official looking at a video replay. Because guess what? We're all making judgments at home on that official right now and on everything going on in the National Football League. And this judgment is that the NFL is going to go. I've said it before, I'm saying it again, 20 years, and the NFL is going to be what boxing is now. 1 or 2 games that people all tune into each year, pay-per-view probably, because that's the only way they're going to be able to make revenue, and beyond that, nothing, because that's where the NFL is going. We cannot stand everything going on with the players and the player personnel. We can't stand the commissioner worth a lick. Fantasy football is now having their issues, and that's half the reason the NFL is so successful right now, is what fantasy football is doing. So you put together all those things, all these issues. I mean, you now have, you have dog killers who people don't like seeing back on the field. You have, all the domestic violence and former felons who have been able to be put on a football field. The NFL is going downhill very quickly. And with fantasy football having their issues, they're going to be going downhill a lot more quickly if there gets to be fantasy regulation. But things like this, like BatGate, the fact that I have to be talking and ranting about the fact that I can be so all over a call and know it immediately, and going back and forth with people on Twitter like, yeah, this is the rule, here, look, here it is, there it is, word for word, you might as well put me on the air with John Gruden at the end of the game to be able to explain it. Because I think I explained it and understood it better even than the 25-year rules expert. And that's sad. And if that's the best that we can get, then we need to find something else to go on. We need to have players who understand the rules, but we need to have officials who understand the rules. Because right now, we're seeing we're seeing competition that is not legitimate. And if it's not legitimate, again, you're going to lose fans. The NFL is getting really close to losing one right here. This is James Hudson, signing out.